Looking back, Janice could never shake off the memory of that fateful evening. The skies painted a brilliant shade of orange and purple, signaling the end of a long day. In her childhood backyard, she stumbled upon a sight that would forever be etched in her mind. A black cat, its fur as dark as the night, sat gracefully, its eyes glowing mysteriously in the dimming light. An inexplicable connection was formed in that very moment. Naming the feline Shadow for its dark hue, Janice took the cat in, unaware of the whirlwind she had just invited into her life. Janice had always been an animal lover, having grown up surrounded by pets. However, Shadow was different. Unlike the playful kittens she had known, this feline had an aura of maturity, wisdom even. The way it stared at her, it felt as if it was peering deep into her soul. The neighbors had often commented on its peculiar appearance, especially the strange marking on its forehead that eerily resembled a crescent moon. But to Janice, Shadow was special, a silent companion in her solitary childhood days, always by her side, comforting her in its unique, silent way. Janice's days soon fell into a comfortable routine with Shadow. The pair were inseparable, attracting attention wherever they went. One day, as Janice strolled through the town market with Shadow purring by her side, they caught the eye of an elderly woman. With deep wrinkles lining her face and a hunched back, she was known to the townsfolk as the local witch, a keeper of ancient secrets and tales. She approached Janice with an urgency in her steps. "Beware," she whispered, her voice raspy yet compelling. "That creature you hold so dear is no ordinary feline. Darkness clings to it, and it brings misfortune in its wake." Janice, taken aback, stared at the old woman. The marketplace buzzed around them, but in that moment, it felt as if time had frozen. She felt a chill run down her spine, but her skepticism took over. Old tales and superstitions, she thought. With a polite nod, she dismissed the witch's warning, attributing it to the ramblings of an old mind. But as she walked away, she couldn't shake off the uneasy feeling that had settled in her heart. The old witch's eyes were not like any Janice had seen before. They held depths of knowledge, pain, and a hint of desperation. Her hands, though old and wrinkled, had a certain strength to them. As she pointed towards Shadow, Janice noticed an old scar, shaped like a cat's paw, etched on her wrist. This detail, though minute, added to Janice's growing unease. The days following the encounter with the witch were marked by a series of eerie occurrences. At night, Janice would often be jolted awake by the chilling sound of whispers, too faint to discern but loud enough to disturb her sleep. Each time she'd search for the source, she'd find Shadow, seated by the window, its eyes reflecting the moonlight in an almost supernatural glow. Objects around her home began to shift on their own. Books would tumble from shelves, doors would creak open, and lights would flicker without reason. Most unsettling, however, were the nightmares that plagued Janice. She'd find herself in a dense, fog-covered forest, the trees resembling twisted figures, their branches reaching out for her. The sensation of being watched, chased even, was persistent. And in every dream, a shadowy figure lurked just beyond her vision, its presence oppressive. Janice's once cheerful demeanor began to wane. The bond she shared with Shadow was now tainted with doubt. Was the cat truly the cause of these events, or was her mind playing tricks on her? The joy and comfort the feline had once brought were now overshadowed by fear and suspicion. Yet, a part of her refused to believe that the innocent creature she had taken in could be linked to such malevolence. She began to distance herself from friends and family, her once vibrant social life now reduced to solitary evenings, always in the company of Shadow. The cat, for its part, seemed oblivious to the chaos it had seemingly brought into Janice's life. It continued its routine, always by her side, its purring a constant, almost mocking reminder of the witch's warning. Janice's journal, which she kept religiously, began to fill with entries of her experiences, her attempt to find logic in the illogical. Determined to find answers, Janice poured herself into books, old newspapers, and online forums. She transformed her living space into a makeshift study, walls lined with notes, photographs, and sketches. Every lead, every hint of information about black cats, witchcraft, and the supernatural was explored. In an old town record, she stumbled upon tales of witches who believed black cats were their familiars, beings that served as a bridge between the mortal realm and the supernatural. Such cats were not just pets, They were entities of power, conduits for magic. Janice also found mention of a specific legend, a witch, shunned by her community, who sought to trap her soul within a black cat to gain immortality. This ritual, however, required the sacrifice of a human soul during a lunar eclipse. The more she read, the more the pieces began to fit. The crescent-shaped mark on Shadow's forehead, the old witch's scar, and the upcoming lunar eclipse. It all pointed to a terrifying possibility. Shadow was not just a cat. It might be the vessel carrying the spirit of an ancient witch, waiting for the right moment to complete her ritual. Yet, as the evidence mounted, Janice grappled with disbelief. The logical part of her brain rejected these conclusions. But the events she had witnessed, the dreams, the whispers, all seemed to validate the legend. The weight of her discovery bore down on Janice. Sleepless nights were spent cross-referencing facts, searching for an alternative explanation. Her once cozy home now felt like a prison, with Shadow's ever-watchful eyes following her every move. She often found herself talking to the cat, pleading for answers, seeking reassurance that she wasn't losing her mind. The town's history, filled with tales of witch trials and supernatural occurrences, added another layer of complexity to her research. One particularly stormy night, with the roar of thunder echoing and lightning illuminating her home, Janice finally mustered the courage to confront Shadow. The atmosphere was thick with tension. With every flash of lightning, Shadow's silhouette seemed to morph, adding to the room's eeriness. "Is it true?" Janice whispered, her voice shaking. "Are you the witch from the tales? Is that why you're here?" The room was silent, except for the sound of the rain beating against the windows. Shadow, usually so calm and composed, seemed restless. Suddenly, in a moment of ethereal clarity, the room's temperature dropped. Shadow began to levitate, its eyes glowing even brighter. A ghostly figure began to emerge from the cat, taking the form of the old witch Janice had met in the marketplace. "You are astute, my dear," the spirit hissed, her voice echoing around the room. "I have waited centuries, and the lunar eclipse is nigh. I need a new vessel, a new form. You, Janice, are the key." The realization hit Janice like a ton of bricks. The legends, the warnings, they were all true. But what could she do? The story concludes with Janice, eyes wide with horror, standing face to face with her fate. The impending lunar eclipse hinted at the time the ritual was to be completed, leaving readers pondering Janice's fate. The wind howled outside, resonating with Janice's growing despair. The pieces of her research scattered around the room seemed to mock her, a testament to her failure to see the signs earlier. The spirit of the witch circled her, whispering tales of her past, of her quest for immortality, and of the countless souls she had consumed over the centuries. Janice felt trapped, both physically and mentally. The bond she had once shared with Shadow now felt like a chain, binding her to a destiny she couldn't escape. As the hours ticked by, Janice knew she had to make a choice. Would she succumb to the witch's desires, or would she find a way to break free? Thank you for venturing into the mysterious world of Moonlit Meows with us. If this tale sent shivers down your spine, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. For more haunting tales and spine-tingling stories, make sure you're subscribed to our horror streaming channel. And if you dare, click on the notification bell so you're the first to know when a new story emerges from the shadows. Have your own theories about Shadow's origins or Janice's fate? Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you think this story could haunt the dreams of your friends, don't hesitate to share it. Stay spooky, and until our next eerie adventure, keep the lights on.